Okay, hello and welcome to the Niwot podcast. I'm Joey Hendershot, and today I'm here with Maddi Stapp and Aleah Keppler. So the first thing that we're going to do today is just sort of get to know you guys, and I'm going to give each of you about 20 or 30 seconds, no matter how much you need, and just go ahead and talk about yourself. There's really no instructions to this part, and it's whatever you want to talk about, whatever you feel like is the most important to describe you. So, Maddi, you want to start?
Sure. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I guess I went to Boulder Country Day for the majority of my schooling and life. I've been involved in theater since I was 5, and I'm part of the Niwot Theater Department, and we just finished filming Little Shop. My main thing is I've always wanted to help people and be a leader, so that's kind of why I joined Student Council in the first place.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. I'm Aleah. I went to Niwot Elementary for a while. My dad was the principal there. And then we moved to Istanbul, Turkey for 2 years, and then came back, went to Sunset, and now Niwot. And I've been in student council for 3 years. And yeah, I love it, and kind of similar reasons as Maddi, being a leader and yeah, helping our student body.
Awesome. Okay, so the reason we have two people on today is because these two are co-presidents of the senior body for next year. How did you come up with being co-presidents? Was it that you didn't feel like running against each other, or was it something? Did someone else do it before you? How did you come up with that?
So Natalia Stortz, our president last year, was originally going to run with Nick Fallon as co-presidents, but then they ultimately decided to do president and vice president. And when Aleah and I heard that, we kind of were like, oh my gosh, we need to do that, because every student council project that we've done together. Also, just during this pandemic, we realized that when we came back to school, we needed to really have leadership that was willing to take on the role of making Niwot spirited again. And just how I was thinking about it, the more leaders, the better, just so we can get more stuff done and we can collaborate and, we work pretty well together.
Yeah, I think like Maddi said, I think we kind of thought that next year is kind of the perfect year to do it, because following the pandemic and everything, we really want to do a lot with our student body, and I think having both of us as leaders will be super helpful.
Cool. So when you say do a lot in student council, I also just don't think in general that a lot of people know what student council does. And the reason I wanted to have you guys on was I wanted you guys to explain a little bit where student council's limitations are, what you guys do in a normal year.
I know, I think that's kind of an issue that we've honestly been talking about, and that we want to change next year, whether that's like getting on the announcements and publicizing things that are going on in student council, because we are going to try and do a lot for our school, but I think it's hard when not everyone knows like really what's happening. So I think one of our main goals is going to be to start kind of publicizing that more.
Yeah, just in terms of like things that you would typically maybe or maybe not associate with student council would be homecoming, spirit weeks, assemblies, all of the senior sunrises, senior nights, barbecues, the parade, basically things that are student and spirit oriented. We set up a lot for homecoming. We're basically in charge of getting all those decorations and making sure that kids come, and we also did Wish Week last year, if you remember that, and we set up that whole donation stuff and all of those events. Our main thing is just student spirit, but we definitely want to start doing more. We were thinking about possibly implementing a fun run next year to help us raise money for some of the events that we want to do, and stuff like that. Yeah.
A few of those things I want to go back to. Obviously, we didn't do a few of those things this year. And then, so did those resources get allocated somewhere else? Like, for instance, homecoming, we didn't do that this year. Was there something else that student council was working on?
So we were really limited in terms of what we were allowed to do, just because of all the restrictions and it was just so unknown of what we were going to be able to do. Our main moneymaker, in all honesty, is Prom, and we didn't have that last year. So we've had a budget, but we haven't had a huge budget to do a lot of student stuff. What we're trying to do right now with the budget we have is senior nights, their barbecue, prom, getting a really good DJ and a great package for them, and like all that type of stuff.
I did also notice that it's not just our school having a senior prom, and that there are plenty of other high schools in the entire state of Colorado that are doing the same thing. Was this a decision that you guys made on your own, or was this something that came down to you from someone higher up?
We wanted a prom from the beginning of the year. We planned it, we contacted venues, we allocated a budget for it. Unfortunately, the district and student council expected that things would kind of lighten up by this time, which they have, but not to the level or the degree that we needed it to. So they ultimately decided from the district that we were not going to have any prom. So we basically stopped planning. And then we got information from the district that we would be allowed to do a senior prom, and we found out at the same time the seniors did. So we've been doing a little bit of planning, but because it's on the tennis courts, it requires a lot less, thankfully. But yeah, we really wanted to make a cool one and plan a fun one, but it really is just Boulder County COVID restrictions that we have to abide by.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff comes from like the whole district too, which I think a lot of people forget about. It's not just like our school, but a lot of it is coming from like the superintendent, and kind of everyone has to do things kind of together.
Switching gears a little bit, let's go back and talk about your position in student council as co-presidents. What made you want to decide to be president instead of something else? Was there certain things that only the president can do that you wanted to change?
I think, the main thing is kind of just leadership, I think. I think we both have a lot of, like, enthusiasm for next year, and I think that's something that's really important, is you need to, like, be really passionate if you want to kind of lead the student body. And I know we've both wanted leadership positions. I actually tried out freshman year but lost for president.
It was a close race.
It was a close race, hopefully. But I kind of wanted another chance at that. And I think we're both super excited about it.
Yeah, I'd say my main thing is, on top of that, all of my reasons are similar, but I also wanted the future generations of leaders to have a mentor. And, I'm seeing already just the freshman class and sophomore class, some people who are really stepping up and having great ideas for next year. And Natalia really took me under her wing last year, even though I was a sophomore and it was first time in my student council and I had no leadership positions. She gave me the opportunity to really be a leader. And I wanted to do the same so that I know Niwot's in good hands.
So you guys didn't have a whole lot of opposition while running. So in a normal year, if you would have had opposition and you might have had to run on certain things or say what you were going to do differently from other people that were running, and we didn't get to see a whole lot of that this year, would you want to talk about things that you might want to accomplish while you have your position, or is it mostly just filling a role that needed to be filled for our class?
For me, it was, I wanted to make Niwot more united. I know that there's been a lot of division in classes between different groups of people, and I want to make the invisible kid in the hallway be seen, because I know that, I was that kid at one point, and I want to create events that will help that person find their people, because I was lucky enough to. And whether that's movie nights for specific grades or, like class building activities, that was my main thing. I want to unite Niwot. I think especially in this time, we need to remain united. Aleah and I were always planning on running together, whether that was me as vice or her as vice. And I remember us talking a lot about doing a lot of community service. We wanted to reach out to Make-A-Wish again, do Wish Week, There With Care is a company I've worked with, which helps cancer patients and their families. I've worked a lot with them for my capstone in 8th grade, just kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think very similar reasons to Maddi. A big thing for me is community service, too. We've both been in the community service committee in student council and have kind of led that, and I think Spirit Week was super awesome. But I think next year, just like overall increasing our school spirit. Like I know we have spirit around dances especially, but I think there kind of comes like halts in between the dances or times when we're not all together and excited about being here. So I think we definitely want to change that.
Yeah.
Talking about dances, for next year at least, are you guys allowed to talk about homecoming at all next year? Is that something that you guys have started talking about in student council?
We could probably talk about the
Yeah.
DJ a little bit, yeah, and some of the aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
We have this really cool DJ company which we've used in the past. The past couple dances have been really cool because of our DJ.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough to go to Falco, which is like a leadership opportunity. Was that in Colorado Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colorado Springs, yeah.
And they had the DJ there, and it was probably one of the coolest dances I've ever
That's
seen.
so
Like they
cool.
had lasers and like little light boxes which you could stand on, and it was amazing. So we definitely want to get an awesome package from them. We'll probably do more than we've ever done in the past few years, just because we want to make this a cool event, and we're not really sure where the event will be yet, but we're in works, and we're definitely going to splurge on decorations. It's going to look really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been talking about all that stuff in student council and Spirit Week and everything, and trying to plan the theme, and we'll get the event figured out soon, shortly.
Yeah.
Cool. Sure. So I just want to jump back real quick, because Maddi, you were talking about how you wanted to do, you wanted to like unify classes, do all these cool little things. What sort of, does student council have the ability to do that kind of thing? Is that something that you have to do on your own?
Everything has to be approved by admin if I'm going through student council. Luckily, admin is very supportive of building class pride and a unified student body. So we actually hosted a movie night last year during Wish Week, and we got free popcorn from AMC, just popcorn they didn't use, and they gave it to us. And our admin was super supportive of that. So yeah, I have to run everything by admin. But yeah, I think, the main goal, like you said, is to unify everybody. And, like we were talking about maybe doing like a sleepover for juniors, and then there's a lot of there's a lot of liability there, so we're just not going to do that. But like and other stuff like that, if it's not to that degree, admin is super supportive. Yeah.
As far as doing anything else in the coming next year, how much are you allowed to tell us about events that we may or may not be having?
Most things are still in the works a little bit, but we're trying to kind of get a really big head start on things, especially for the beginning of next year, and plan a lot of things like right now, so that when everyone comes back, they're going to feel that sense of spirit and be happy to be here. And I think our homecoming date is actually going to be pretty early, tentatively. We're still kind of solidifying that, but I think we're planning a lot of things now to get ready for next year.
I can tell you one thing. Our main goal is to get people to attend sports games. No one's been able to attend them for this entire year, basically. And I know that, like volleyball games, tennis matches, swimming meets, track, cross country, have had low attendance in the past. And Ryan's come up with some really great ideas to increase attendance. Definitely next year during Spirit Week, I know there's the volleyball season's during that, so we'll want to do some fun things for them in order to get attendance up. But I think one of the best ways you can raise school spirit is by supporting your teams, so that's going to be one of our main focuses, especially in the beginning of the year, just because there's so many things going on at that time.
And then coming back to finishing out this year, what are you guys expecting the last 20 days of school to look like?
A lot of senior stuff.
Yeah. a lot of senior
There's not a
stuff.
lot for the rest of the student body, unfortunately.
Mm.
I don't. Are we doing a spirit week before prom? For the
I don't.
seniors?
And we're not too sure about that yet, but I think we'll do something like at the end of the year to
To celebrate.
celebrate and boost morale. But yeah, like she said, I think most of it is kind of focused on the seniors.
Yeah.
Cool. And then the last thing, the thing that everyone sort of wants to know, are we gonna have assemblies next year? Are you planning on having assemblies next year?
I mean, if considering what we've heard from admin, they are so on board. I mean, obviously everything is so by the minute in our time right now. We never know what future's going to look like, but my goal is to have it be the best assembly that we've had. Like, I am so excited. The assemblies are going to be a huge part of next year for sure, and our spirit committee, whoever is going to be the head of that, will have a lot on their plate, but I fully believe that they will be capable and passionate about it. So
Cool. Well, that's all I have. If you guys have anything else to add.
I don't think
so. Yeah, just expect some fun things next year. We're excited.
Thank you guys for joining me and talking about all these very interesting topics. And that's all I have. So until next time, thanks for listening. This is the Niwot Podcast.